Welcome back everyone. So I've been talking a lot about these jailbroken devices and just jailbreaking on older devices in general, and that's including the iPhone 5S, iPhone 6, iPhone 7, and now the next one is the iPhone 8. And if you just watched my last jailbroken on older devices, whatever, jailbroken tweaks, best ones for the older phones, whatever, I basically talked a lot about the iPhone 8 because I was using the iPhone 8 to showcase those specific jailbreak tweaks, and I figured I might as well do the same thing and showcase why the iPhone 8 is so good. It's already a pretty good phone, but when you jailbreak it, it really does take it to the next level. And if you currently own an iPhone 8 or even an iPhone SE 2, of course that has its newer phone, it has the latest and greatest chipset, but it has the same body as the iPhone 8. And it's very weird when you look at a phone like the iPhone 8 and you see the features that it has and the capability that it has when it is jailbroken. It's definitely a crazy thing for sure at the end of the day. So what I would tell you, if you have an iPhone 8, I would highly recommend jailbreaking. I have like 50 tutorials on how to do that, even with the latest Uncover, and this phone obviously supports that checkra jailbreak as well, but I would honestly use both. I would use both the checkra jailbreak and the Uncover jailbreak to jailbreak this device. So I'll leave both of those links in the tutorials in the description below so you guys can go and watch those videos and if you want to jailbreak. Also, all these tweaks and repos will be linked down below and a little bit of a summary between them too, so you guys can go and check out the description and just install these tweaks if you want to, as well as a name. So the very first one, and this one might be the most apparent one, and I have to get this one out of the way, is called Snowboard. So what this one does is it's kind of like, it's a theme manager for iOS, it's a super old tweak. It's been around for a very long time, and I just recently kind of got onto it. I've installed a lot of tweaks back in the day and everything, but more recently, Snowboard is a crazy one, and I think it used to go by a different name too, but I kind of forgot. But what this one does, it allows you to basically install themes onto your iOS device. So the tweak in and of itself doesn't have any themes. You have to go and install those and pre-install those yourself. But the theme that I'm using currently is the Lotus Theme, and this is a free one, and it's extremely good in my opinion. There are tons of paid ones too, and honestly, you're probably better off paying for the paid one sometimes. You can go and support those developers too, but this Lotus theme in and of itself is actually really, really good. So the process to install the tweak is super easy. The process to load a theme is super easy too. In the settings panel, you just go and click on the Snowboard theme and then click on the, add skin or whatever, and then it pretty much adds the theme. So it changes just the icons and everything, and definitely I'll tell you at the end of the day, it's really cool. It is kind of confusing to go and find the specific tweak or the specific app that you're looking for sometimes, but once you're kind of over that and you kind of know, okay, the camera looks like this or the photos looks like this, it's definitely a really cool tweak at the end of the day, and that one is probably the one that'll have the most impact when you're looking at it day by day. So that one is called Snowboard, and I'm currently using the Lotus theme. And the next one is one that I talk about so much because it's just so crazy that a phone like an iPhone 8 has the capability of having some type of capability like this at all, even in a jailbroken state. And this one is called Gestures 13. And what this one is, you guys already know, I've talked about this so much. Now there's two tweaks. There's Gestures 13 and there's Gestures 10s. Now me personally, I like Gestures 13. For some reason, I was not able to get Gestures 10s to work on a lot of my devices. So Gestures 13, what it is, it pretty much brings those iPhone 11, iPhone 10s, iPhone 10 type of gestures onto a device like an iPhone 8 or an iPhone 6 or even an iPhone 5S. I think iPhone 5 is probably capable too, but it's still a really crazy thing that we have that type of capability. So basically to kind of, sum it up, you have the same type of capability that you have on something like an iPhone 11 onto this device. So you can swipe up from the bottom, you can swipe down to get into, the little top, bring the top down. You can swipe between apps as well. And, with the iPhone 8, we have force touch. You can always force touch from the side, but still it's a really, really cool thing that we do have that type of capability on this device, which is really awesome at the end of the day. So that one is Gestures 13. Now this next one is called Multipla Lite, and what this one does, it pretty much brings a little bit more capability onto the dock. Now this is not just a specific tweak for an iPhone 8, like an older iPhone like this, but it's still a really cool thing at the end of the day. So what this one does, if you swipe from the bottom, if you swipe from the dock, you basically get into different pans of the dock. Now with the light version, you can only get into music, which is still perfectly fine for me. But if you swipe, you're still able to get into the music dock into the light version, which is really cool. So you don't even have to pay for it. If you want the paid version, you can go for it. But the light version still has a lot of capability too, which is really cool. So That one is Multipla Lite. I've showcased it in my video yesterday, and I showcased it now because it's a really awesome, cool little tweak. Now the next one is called Camera Mode 10, and this is another one that I've hit on a lot, but with a phone like the iPhone 8, it doesn't have portrait mode natively built in. The iPhone SE2 does have portrait mode, but the iPhone 8 does not have that capability, which, like I've stated before, this phone could have easily supported it, but it didn't have the camera capability, so it's totally okay. Now with this, it just brings portrait mode into this device, which is extremely cool. Now, is it a groundbreaking thing? Is it going to change your life? Probably not, and the camera quality is still exactly the same as before, but it's still a really cool thing that we have that type of capability on this phone. And basically, it works just like regular portrait mode. We have the depth effect, we have everything going on with it, which is really awesome. You can go take a photo of anything, take it back, and honestly, it looks really good at the end of the day. So for sure, Camera Mode 10 gets a thumbs up in my books, and for an older iPhone like an iPhone 8, it definitely suits it so well, and honestly, it works better than I thought. And I talked about this tweak a lot, but it's still really cool that we have that capability on a phone like an iPhone 8 for sure. Now the next tweak that I want to hit on is called Rofi or Rofi. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is a tweak that honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this reminds me of something, but I wasn't too sure what it reminded me of. And it reminds me of the Edge panel on the Samsung Galaxy phones. But what Rofi does is basically it allows you to have a little bit of a sidebar and a little bit of a tab that you can actually pull on and drag out to. And you can install basically, any apps that you want to here. And it's basically like a dock that's kind of hidden that you can take out on any side of the app that you want to. So if you're in Safari, if you're in wherever, you're actually able to go and use Rofi, and you can go into the settings and modify which apps you want there. So it's basically just an extra pan that you can pull out and use, whenever you want to, and just load it with your apps. Now, me personally, I have the App Store, I have Cydia, Safari, and Instagram. But if I want to, I can have apps like Uncover or whatever, Cydia here too, which I already have Cydia, but you can load that with however many apps and whichever apps you want to, which is extremely cool. So for sure, at the end of the day, Rofi gets a thumbs up in my books for 100% for being able to do what it can do. So like I said, it reminds me of the Edge panel like there used to be on the Samsung Galaxy S series, and I think it still has it, but Rofi is definitely one that gets a thumbs up on my books for sure. And the next one, which I've hit on so much on this channel, is called No Slow Animations. And what this one does is it basically brings faster animations to your device. So on a phone like an iPhone 8, it's not even that slow, but I saw the biggest improvements on my phones like the iPhone 6 and stuff. But basically, when you go and click an app open or you click on whatever, there was sometimes a little bit of a delay when you clicked on the app and it actually opened. Now, it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes, there is sometimes an issue where, things kind of happen or whatever. But with a phone like an iPhone 8, you're just able to go and click on something and it's almost instantaneous. It reminds me so much of my phone like an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 11 Pro or whatever. It's an extremely fast phone, even, without the no slow animations. But with that on, it does add a little bit more, fluidity to it, which is something that I really do like. So it's really easy to install. It only takes a couple seconds, and it's not going to make your games faster. It's not going to make whatever, but just the process of getting, clicking on the app and having it open up onto the screen itself really does speed things up crazy amounts. So for sure, No Slow Animations gets a thumbs up in my books, 100%. And the next one is another one I've talked about so much on this channel, and it's another one that I really do like. It's called ForceInPicture, and it's not just focused on the iPhone 8 specifically, it's for any iPhone, but it's still a really cool thing. Basically it just brings picture-in-picture that we have on the iPads and even on macOS onto our iPhones. Now Apple, they haven't said anything about it, but I'm pretty sure they might bring it onto iOS 14, which if they do, that'll be humongous. Plus, that would be the greatest thing ever. Again, it's not confirmed. We really don't know 100% fact, but if they do, that would be a really awesome thing, and I can't wait for them to do it. So basically, you just install ForceInPicture and it brings picture-in-picture natively. Now, it doesn't work on the YouTube app or anything, but it works on youtube.com within Safari, as well as any other videos that you play through Safari or Chrome or whatever, which is really cool. And if you guys remember ForceInPicture, in order to get picture-in-picture on our device, it was a longer process. We had to do a lot of different things, but now with ForceInPicture, we can just click on one little tweak, install it, and we're pretty much done. So ForceInPicture gets a thumbs up in my books for sure. Now the last one I want to hit on is a really cool one that I just found out the other day, and this one is called Bottom Toolbar Lite. And what this one does is, like I stated before, it just brings a little bit more of a theme to your control center. So basically, if you guys know, if you install Gestures 13, actually it brings the control center to the top right corner instead of swiping up from the bottom. But with Bottom Toolbar Lite, you can actually swipe up from whatever designated area that you want to swipe up from, and you can actually pull up your control center. And it does look really cool. So not only do we have the standard stuff up top, we have our music in the center, We have our brightness and sound on the right side and our little toggles on the left side. And then at the very bottom is the coolest part. We have our dock, which, is our standard dock that's actually on our home screen. So all those apps that are there, they're on here too, which is really cool. You can click on whichever app you want to and go from there. So for sure, at the end of the day, bottom toolbar light just looks so much cooler on a phone like this for sure. So at the end of the day, man, a jailbroken iPhone 8 is still extremely cool. I think it's very, very awesome. And for sure, at the end of the day, if you have an iPhone 8, I would recommend jailbreaking it. It's never been easier to jailbreak, and it's never even been better to jailbreak. We have so many tweaks that are still compatible with iOS 13.5, and for sure, if you have an iPhone 8, you don't need to go get an iPhone SE 2 right now. You can just keep an iPhone 8 and go from there. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys to check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.